This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. Fan. Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
All right, as I mentioned before the break, we are guest-free the rest of the way. There's a lot of good ground to cover, including we may explore the controversial subject of AI later this hour, but it's toy department time for the top 5. What do we have?
Let's start at TCO. I'm just going to read you tweets from practice. This is from Kevin Seifert. This is kind of one of his overarching ones from about an hour ago. His most recent tweet. Yesterday, J.J. McCarthy missed his share of passes. Today, he was pretty much lights out. Asked how he thinks of his accuracy and himself as a thrower in general, he said in part, I think I'm one of the most accurate guys out there.
All right, calm down.
Kevin Seifert, 3 hours ago. J.J. McCarthy on a heater right now. Deep throw to Aaron Jones connects down right sideline after throwing 4 consecutive touchdowns in red zone drills. Then he retweets himself. This has been McCarthy's sharpest practice to date. This run was part of 12 consecutive completions, including deeper throws to Jones and Jordan Addison. Want Alec Lewis?
Can I ask you a Jordan Addison question?
Sure.
Can you make the argument that given he's going to miss the first 3 weeks, that the Vikings might be better served hardly using him right now? That sounds counterintuitive. I'm just saying,
I think
you have to figure out.
There's a time where you definitely
in
need
the short term who you're going to replace him with, right? I mean, so you got to get some other repetitions or something. Now, maybe again, he's the quarterback whisperer, and they can still find a way to do that. But I mean, how many times have we called his name? It feels like through the first several weeks or couple weeks of practice, right? And it's like it's encouraging in a way. It confirms how important he is to this team. But I want to see if we got somebody else who might help out. Anyway, go ahead.
Here's J.J. McCarthy on Jordan Addison, by the way, who Alec Lewis writes was just absolutely ridiculous the last 2 days. Quote, one-of-a-kind route runner. He does some really special things out there. The way he gets in and out of a lot of cuts. His top-end speed is first class. He's open a lot. Talking about J.A., as we call him.
Yeah.
By the way, when I was talking to Michael Hurley off the air, which, as you know, is all about Minnesota sports.
That's true.
It was funny to hear Michael Hurley call Jalen Naylor Speedy, like Kevin O'Connell does.
Is that right?
He goes, well, it'll be a good opportunity for Speedy.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
He's into it,
He's
isn't
a rube.
Yeah. Well, one of these times we have him on, maybe we don't worry about the rest of the world in crisis, and we just say, screw that. Let's just go toy department with him. Because I think he would enjoy that.
He would. It's probably a nice break, I would think.
Well, every time, he knows James Carville very well.
Yes.
So I know every time they talk, it's not about politics, it's about sports, because Carville similarly is a huge sports rube.
Huge.
So they end up talking nothing but sports stuff.
That's what I talked to Carville about at the New Orleans Final Four.
That's right, I remember that.
It was all about bounty gates.
That's it.
Brett said he didn't have a problem with it. Well, I did, James. I did, and I still do. Alec Lewis, pretty good day for the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy was sharp. Pass rush was dominant. Jonathan Grenard remains on one. Thought Jalen Redmond kept flashing too. Here's some other highlights from Alec Lewis. Dallas Turner shot out of a cannon for a sack in the 2-minute. Got Morgan Moses good. Alec Lewis.
Wow.
Jonathan Grenard just provided Will Campbell with a welcome to the NFL moment.
Man.
Is there anything else here?
Are we going to go 17-0?
Should we read the Patriots side of things?
Well,
for Chad Graff?
Might as well, Chad. That's who I quoted earlier.
And by the way, he was with The Athletic.
Okay, I thought he was.
After the Pioneer Press.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Andy Greeter from the Pioneer Press, for correcting
I
the
didn't
record.
think I was making that up, but sometimes my memory's not the greatest.
3 hours ago, the Patriots' final joint practice of the summer is over, and it was a butt-kicking. Minnesota was better in just about every drill. The Pats hit a Hail Mary. I actually heard that. But few highlights outside of that. Defense got carved, and offense was left to dink and dunk amid lots of pressure. The other tweet of note from Chad Graff, the Patriots takeaway from today, the defense has to be the strength of this team and needs to be a lot better than they were today. The offense will be up and down, we know that, but the defense needs to be reliable. Today, they got shredded.
Well, can I remind folks of the Patriots' record a year ago?
They had the same over-under as us, 8.5.
Which is astonishing because they were 4-13 last year.
They fired their coach. They've got Vrabes in there now.
Vrabes is a good coach. I grant that. The kid quarterback's got another year under his belt and all that sort of thing. But they were one of the worst teams in football last year. In fact, AFC, the only team with fewer victories was Cleveland at 3-14, right? I mean, they were bad, so they got a long way to go, I guess. No, let me correct myself. The Titans were 3-14 as well. I'm just saying. I mean, I know, again, Vrabel's a magician, and there's every reason to believe he'll turn things around, but they were awful. So I do think we have to at least factor that into the equation.
Should we move on from the Vikings? They see the Patriots on Saturday. Sam Howell's going to start. KOC announced that today.
Why do people keep doing this? Dear Dr. Dan, Addison will be replaced in game 1 by a guy named Jefferson. People can't be that naive, can they? Are they that naive?
Well, you need more. Yeah.
To think that so on that, the basis of that logic, you think defenses will apparently just guard JJ one-on-one the way they do Addison? I mean, you can't possibly be that naive, can you? It's apples and oranges, man. Look at the all 22. Pay attention. Anyway, you were saying?
Josh Metellus and Jalen Naylor, shoulder and hand injury respectively, will be evaluated, but did not seem too concerned, talking about KOC about either. Metellus looked fine leaving the field. He stopped and signed autographs post-practice. So those are two injuries that popped up today. Minnesota Timberwolves will open the 2025-2026 season on the road Wednesday, October 22nd against the Portland Trailblazers. They'll stay on the road that Friday to take on the Lakers. The home opener Sunday, October 26th against the defending Eastern Conference champions, who won't have their best player, Tyrese Halliburton.
Or their one of their second or third best players went to Milwaukee. What's the big man? It'll come to me in a minute. No. It'll come to me in a minute. Yeah, Turner.
Miles Turner
went to Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. He did.
So, yeah, they're going to be very beatable. Now, again,
we lost to them with Obi Toppin scoring 50 last year.
He looked great against us, but yeah, they're not going to be the same team.
So that's the home opener Sunday, October 26th. And for the record, there's no Vikings game that day. It's their mini bye because they play the Chargers Thursday night that week, October 23rd. All told, 28 nationally televised games, 7 on ESPN, 7 on Prime, 6 on NBC. Can't wait for John Tesh. 4 on ABC. And 4 on Peacock. So that's 5 different national networks now, or streaming services, that will have games. And the Wolves are going to have 28, including NBA TV and, of course, League Pass and all that. But it's going to be a good breakdown. Plenty of opportunities for the country to see your Minnesota Timberwolves.
I didn't ask Johnny this Monday, but maybe we will when we get to the fair. I think the Wolves still have some money. Do they not?
And I think they have to sign one more player to get to the roster.
So, and there's still speculation on could there be another bridge guard you get to. I don't know who's really out there at this point. None of the names, most of the names aren't really big. But have you had any luck in working back channels with the Wolves on Tim Conley coming? Because he reached out to me saying, well, I see you at the fair. I reached out to him to say, what days are you going to be out there? He hasn't responded. So maybe you work back door. I'm hoping at some point we get Conley back at the State Fair.
I think we will.
I have a hunch we will,
too. I think we will. Is there anything else Wolves related I wanted to bring up there? No, I don't think so.
Twins back home tonight, right?
Twins are back home tonight.
Salvaged a game in New York last night with your guy.
And you and I, Joe Ryan, he was great. Went 7 innings.
Can't wait for him to be traded this offseason.
We both got sent a tweet from somebody that's, I guess, already at Target Plaza.
Oops.
Where right outside one of the gates, not sure which one it is, right on Target Plaza, basically. Because I can see parking ramp B right there.
Okay.
One of those like maps of where you are in Target Plaza. Mm-hmm. There's a sign taped to that pillar that says "Sell the team."
Interesting.
So spirits are high as the Twins return home to take on the Tigers. Bailey Ober on the mound. opposing Tariq Skubal. First pitch, 6:40.
We're still in the wild card race.
You want me to check the standings?
Technically.
See how far back we are.
I think we're about 6 out, aren't we? With a bunch of, is it 4 teams in front of us
it's
or 5?
6.5 with the Yankees are still holding on to the last wild card. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 teams. 6 teams in front of us. We are 6.5 games back. So there you go.
6 teams in front of us?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yankees, Guardians,
the
Rangers,
Yankees have to
Royals,
be included. You're right.
Angels, and Rays.
That's a good point. All right, let's do the proper jump straddle, shall we? We'll come back and talk a very controversial subject: bathrooms, clean bathrooms. That's next. If we'd had an extended Top 5 at 5, I'm sure we would have referred to the stories that we started the program with, especially one of them that has the local angle, Vikings angle as well, one could say. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit found that claims made by former Dolphins coach and, of course, now Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores should not be sent to arbitration. This is potentially the NFL's worst nightmare, right? They want to control these controversies via arbitration. Stuff doesn't get spilled out into the public, and even better for them, it's the NFL commissioner who decides, ultimately rules on cases like this. And this ruling that was announced earlier today involved claims Flores has made against 3 franchises, right? The Giants, Broncos, and Texans. And the court has basically said that this case should proceed in court. And in court, that obviously means Roger Goodell ain't the guy who's going to make the final decision. That's why nationally this is being covered so extensively. This is a fairly momentous decision in that regard. And it comes 3 days after the league lost again in court regarding, in that case, they lost to the Nevada Supreme Court in the case involving John Gruden. Gruden's got claims against the league. He wants to pursue legally. Once again, the NFL said, well, let's do it in arbitration. Gruden's people have been fighting this, and Nevada Supreme Court said, you're right, this should also be in public, and in fact, the commissioner should not be the guy who ultimately we pretend is in an objective position. Now, you know, the conflicting factor has to do with arbitration being a big part of what was collectively bargained in this regard. But these rulings would seem to supersede whatever those, stipulations had already been regarding the deal between the union and the management and the National Football League as well. So stay tuned for more on that. But as we said early, this falls under the classification of, have we really understood how absurd this has been, that the commissioner would be the ultimate arbiter of objectivity in these cases? It's preposterous on its face. It's been part of the way the NFL has worked because all this was collectively bargained, but apparently with some good attorneys and some judges interceding, that era, at least involving these 2 cases, might well soon be coming to an end. So I wanted to make sure we got back to that at least a second time. None of that affects, obviously, the way B-Flow, goes about his job right now. But it could be a very momentous set of decisions that ultimately makes a lot of this dirty laundry public in a way that it otherwise would not have been. And remember, in B-Flow's case, he's talking about what he believes is racial discrimination on a number of fronts that he claims he had to deal with over a period of years. I mentioned the bathroom story. We are, some of you may already know this, but we are apparently we have Minnesota has a public restroom that is among 9 vying for the very prestigious title of America's best restroom.
Are you nuts?
And it's selected, obviously, for exceptional cleanliness.
Makes sense. Good place to start.
Design and innovation. This is a brilliant PR move by a company called Cintas Ultra Clean Cleaning Service. And by the way, the winning restroom will receive a cleaning service of $2,500 in facility or cleaning services, and most importantly, national recognition. Now, are you familiar with which Minnesota restroom is in the mix?
I have no idea. I'm fascinated.
This is all new to you. All right, let's go through the list here. Here are the nominees. The Rooftop at Pier 17, New York, New York. Judges raved over the concert venue's well-maintained restroom for its panoramic Manhattan skyline views, spacious layout with no fewer than 75 stalls, and modern design featuring smooth concrete walls, soft lighting, and stylish ADA-compliant sinks. I'm looking at the photo. It's pretty. It's a concert venue, apparently, in New York City. The Rooftop at Pier 17.
I think that's also where ESPN used to have their studios.
Is that true?
Yeah. Where like Greeny and Stephen A. did the show. They just moved them somewhere else, but there's a lot of cool stuff down there.
The city of Fruita in Colorado. I'm not familiar with that city. Are you?
No.
This self-cleaning restroom showcases modern public infrastructure by combining advanced technology, sustainability, and practicality, according to the judges. Safety features include automated locks and emergency exits, and energy-efficient lighting with low water usage. Well, to me, that should be a negative for environmental sustainability. That's in Mesa County, western Mesa County, Colorado. Footprints in Kansas. This once cramped restroom in Kansas was transformed into a whimsical barn-themed space celebrating the region's agricultural heritage, the judges say. Created by local artists, it features custom ceramic tiles depicting farm animals, corn cobs, and a flour sack honoring the town's milling history, all turning the restroom into a unique experience full of local pride. It does, I will admit, it looks very historic, and it looks very unique and very impressive. Then there's the public restroom, the iconic pink restroom at Little America Hotel in Salt Lake City, Utah. Judges impressed by Italian marble, crystal chandeliers, and floor-to-ceiling stall doors.
Wow. For
privacy. So don't even think you're going to poke your head over the top of the stall. You're going to have to be like 7'8", apparently, to get that done. Softly lit vanities, elegant furnishings, and a blush pink palette. Next up, the 9 finalists include Modern Bar in Florida. This is in Orlando, apparently. One second. Black and white tiles, gold accents, and marble countertops make it a popular spot for glam photos. And then they offer up an Instagram-worthy spot. Was also nominated for Best Bar Restroom in Orlando Weekly's annual Best of Awards. It looks pretty Spartan to me, I'll be honest with you. I'm not high on it. Then there's the Rosebrook Lodge in New Hampshire. Judges say the restrooms at Rosebrook Lodge, located in the Omni Mount Washington Resort and Spa, blend elegance and craftsmanship with natural alpine-inspired design. Looks okay. Texas, of course, has to be represented. And they have a nominee out of Dallas, Texas. Tatsu, the restaurant at that restaurant, mirrors the restaurant's meticulous care with spotless cleanliness, polished fixtures, and a fresh scent.
Oh, yeah. Smells important.
Say. It features a sophisticated Toto toilet and vibrant koi fish wall art, creating a calming, elegant space that reflects the restaurant's strong commitment to hygiene and detail. California is represented. San Diego, more specifically. Is it pronounced Tecolote or Tecolote? Tecolote Shores in California. You know how to pronounce that?
I've never been there.
It's in San Diego. Combines this restroom functionality with coastal charm, according to the judges. It offers no fewer than 8 all-gender restrooms, including 2 spacious ADA-accessible family restrooms, slip-resistant flooring, important, an exterior shower, drinking fountains, and a bottle filler.
So it must be right by the beach. Did you say that? That's the only reason to have a shower.
Who's to say? It's Tecolote Shores, so that would seem to indicate
sense.
that would. It's in a park.
Josh Broughton might be there now.
I was wondering if Broughton knows about it. Yeah, and last but most assuredly not least, Bearhead Lake State Park in Minnesota. The restroom and shower building at Bearhead Lake State Park combines practical design with natural beauty, the judges say. Fully ADA accessible and featuring camper-friendly outdoor dishwashing sinks. The facility offers, I'm surprised you haven't been there, offers comfort and convenience amid the park's serene setting, which in 2010 was named America's favorite state park. It's in St. Louis County, Minnesota.
Up in Ely, yeah.
Bearhead Lake State Park. I got to be honest with you, it looks fine. I'm not. The beauty of this is you can vote. If you just Google best restroom competition, you'll find a link. I think the voting goes till August 16, so that's just a couple days off. But you can vote and see if we can get Minnesota represented. Do you know? Have you been to that particular?
I don't think
park?
I've ever been to Bearhead Lake.
Yeah,
No,
there it is.
That's one of a few. I've been to most of them, kind of on the North Shore and down, but nothing by Ely. I don't believe.
We are in. I don't know why they're not doing Final 10, but in this case, it appears they're doing. Maybe they couldn't find 10. 9 bathrooms across New York, Minnesota, Colorado, Kansas, Utah, Florida, New Hampshire, Texas, and California.
From sea to shining sea.
The finalists in Cintas's best restroom. That's a great bid. It's a great idea.
Well, and how do you even get people? Do people submit? Do you have to nominate and then they take a look?
Well, the other question is, do the judges actually judge on the basis of the photos, or are they obligated to
use it
and appear inside the restrooms themselves to fully appreciate the good and the bad of it?
I would think you'd have to.
Yeah,
you'd have to see it, how it's laid out.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of photos for each one, so it's there if you're interested.
So if you're ever on
finding it,
it looks like State Highway 1, going between Ely and, let's just say, Tower, trying to... You can pull off.
You can pull off, okay.
Well, I mean, I'm wondering, is it worth pulling off? Because you have to go, it looks like, kind of deep to get to Bearhead Lake State Park.
How is
Highway 1.
Indianapolis not represented?
Too many options.
What would, in your mind, what's the best public restroom you've ever used in Indianapolis? And I assume it was clean. Had to be.
I was going to say, it's hard to pick just one because they all have such a high standard.
Very, very true.
That's what's hard about Indy is how can you differentiate when everything there is the best?
Is it not? You seem like you're being a little cynical about
Never. Not about Indy.
Let me find, let's go to 42 today. And let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. News on the March, page 1 or 2? I think it's page 2, isn't it? B?
Yeah, probably B.
I think it's B. There it is.
News on the March.
I mean, if that story is not news enough, how about this headline got my attention? U.S. alcohol industry is reeling from Canada's booze boycott. Trade fight prompts pullback in purchases by the biggest export market for U.S.-made wines, costing American brands tens of millions of dollars in sales. Did you see this?
I did see a little bit of this.
This is big, isn't it? This is huge. I mean, this is big money in this country regarding booze, correct? Let me see if I can get to the link with a little more detail. And I'm sure we might hear from the alcohol-related community on this as well. I certainly hope so. This is a Wall Street Journal piece Canada's prohibition on U.S. alcohol is creating a headache for American liquor and winemakers. On the shelves of many Canadian liquor stores, bottles of Jack Daniel's, Maker's Mark, and Sailor Jerry spiced rum are nowhere to be found. Thousands, count them, thousands of bottles of U.S. wine and spirits sit in storage across the country. Well, but if they're in storage, weren't they already paid for?
Theoretically, maybe.
Maybe that's not how it works. At tastings, Canadian drinkers are turning their noses up at American alcohol. After the president initiated a series of trade battles with Canada earlier this year, Canadian provinces, which largely handle alcohol imports and distribution in the country, stopped placing orders for American-made spirits, beer, and wine. And in liquor stores, clerks pulled U.S. brands off shelves, replacing them with Canadian products. Mike Brisebois runs a digital magazine called The Whiskey Explorer. He says that he held a tasting in June, when he served only Canadian, Irish, and Scotch whiskeys, all on the recommendation of his guests. General theme was that they were boycotting the U.S. And so it's now been roughly 6 months since the U.S.-Canada trade spat kicked off, and something called the Distilled Spirits Council estimated exports of U.S. distilled spirits to Canada at $43.4 million over the first 6 months of 2025, down about 62% over the same period in 2024. Exports of American wine about 67% lower. How long can the alcohol industry in this country handle that? That seems pretty significant.
It's not ideal. Not? And I do remember the videos of people pulling American stuff off the shelves 4 or 5 months ago when this whole thing started. And I'm guessing, to your question about why is it just sitting in storage, I'm guessing distributors and distilleries and all that, I bet they go off of last year's numbers, or they have an estimate of how much they need, right? So they probably make it, anticipating that it's going to be sold, but maybe it hasn't been.
Did you see, this story's kind of connected. Somebody just did a survey came out within the last several days of, I think it was, I don't know what this generation is called. If you're between 20 and 30, what are you? Which letter do you belong to, or is there one for that? I don't even know.
I'm sure there is.
Whatever it is, it was a survey about alcohol consumption. And for the first time, I think, ever in the survey's history,
Generation Z, probably.
Is that Z?
Gen Z.
There was a I don't remember what the exact number was, but it was very high. I think it was over 50%. A majority of individuals in that classification from an age standpoint believe that even moderate drinking is unhealthy or dangerous. I don't know the exact word that was indeed used. That's gotten the attention of a number of folks. And so that fascinated me and surprised me. And I'm trying to figure out, does that mean they're more likely to use pot? Does that mean they're more likely to use nothing? Because again, from afar, I still had this impression that people in that age group, it was all about the booze. And the idea that they would think, again, the question wasn't whether, excessive drinking was dangerous. It was whether drinking in moderation was harmful. And the conclusion, the number of folks, I guess, voting in this poll between 20 and 30, it was the highest percentage that we'd ever seen in these kinds of polls. So what are they doing? Does that mean they're not drinking, or are they saying we're drinking anyway, but we actually don't think even in moderation it's very healthy to do so?
It's probably a mix of both, but the marijuana thing is definitely, I think, a big piece of this too. I think there's probably been a big shift that way, given that it's legal most places, given that there's products now all over the place for it. That would be my guess, is that's been a big replacer for just straight up booze. I'll let you know in like 8-9 years when my kids get there.
That's true.
We'll figure out what's going on.
You hit the text line if you have theories on this or what it means, if it means anything at all. Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line is always 64686. We'll also remind you, we've just basically revealed a brand spanking new T-shirt available via KFAN.com. And the best way to find it on the website is to click on the magnifying glass in the upper right, the search engine.
Yep.
Type in the word gong, and the T-shirt should come up. I think you could call it. Am I allowed to characterize it as a Pohlad protest shirt, so to speak?
I think that's fair.
It was something that I tweeted out yesterday, and then we started talking about it a little bit. And once upon a time, at least for this show, the Twins were the Dong Show, and it was a compliment.
I just saw someone at Lifetime Chanhassen wearing the Dong Show shirt.
And that was our record-breaking home run year.
2019.
2019. Was it that long ago?
Yes.
6 years ago.
Dongtober, the whole bit.
And then, by the way, any momentum we had there, you can't blame the Pohlads for this so much because it was COVID, right? I mean, that affected a lot of things.
We made the playoffs the next year.
Well, we did. That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. So in our reaction, or my reaction to the news that broke yesterday, the ongoing effort for this franchise to turn itself into a textbook example of trying its very best, even when it doesn't mean to ruin its own chances to have a decent public image. The Twins again changed course and said, we're not going to sell. We've come up with what we think is a lot better idea. So to that extent, the shirt reads from Dong Show to Gong Show, and it's available at a very reasonable price via KFAN.com. And again, it may not show up when you hit the website, but if you search Gong, then it indeed will.
Takes you right there.
Correct.
And it's also going to be available day one of the Minnesota State Fair.
Correct.
We believe day one. If not day one, pretty quickly thereafter. So this will be available to buy if you're coming to see us.
Yes.
Anytime starting next Thursday through Labor Day from, what do we say? Dong Show to Gong Show.
One other news on the March item. This is a tweet from about, 2 hours ago from the Edina Police and Fire Department. Did you see this one? The Edina Police Department has been investigating multiple thefts from vehicles and auto thefts in and near the Morningside and Chowan Park neighborhoods. Suspects are smashing the windows out of vehicles to steal valuables and garage door openers. 6 suspects have been arrested in connection with these thefts. Please avoid becoming a victim of a crime by following these tips. Do not leave any valuables in your vehicle. Take bags, electronics, and garage door openers with you. Always lock your doors and roll up windows. Leave your outside lights on overnight. There have been a number of cases beyond, I think, these in which it's been smash and grab stuff, right?
Yep.
Just break windows and reach in for whatever might be there. I mean, I've told the story before, what Mr. Fun, once upon a time, and I don't even know if he's in the same neighborhood, where he was running into these problems, and he reached a point where he did the opposite. He left his door unlocked and the windows down, basically say, look around. There's not much in there.
Right.
I'm not going to leave anything too valuable for you, but I'm at least going to concede that this is a losing battle. And, there have been a lot of stories done locally on this with frustrated people who are on the wrong side of this story, right? And they're going, well, it doesn't seem like anything's being done. Cops turn around and say, look, man, we can't be everywhere all of the time. These cases sometimes are difficult to investigate. They aren't priorities. And yet, I understand that if you're in a position where you're constantly fighting this battle and you have to park your car on the street, you feel violated, right? Even though, again, no one's hurt,
right.
You feel violated by it. And it's become a very, very difficult challenge. And I don't even know if there's any particular way out of the box. Obviously, if you had more cops, maybe you stake out locations where it's happening on a regular basis. But then I assume the bad guys move to other spots.
Yeah, it's hard to stay ahead
I don't know
of this
what
one.
to do. But this one falls into the classification of, I don't think it should just be written off as, well, that's life in the big city. I think that's too much of a concession. And we've seen a lot of numbers go down crime-wise in the Twin Cities in recent year and a half that have been favorable. And I don't know where these numbers are, if they're steady, if they're up or whatever, but it seems as if what's stood out on some of these stories is the number of vehicles. It's like 25, 35 at a time, right?
They just had 60 at Great Wolf Lodge like 2-3 weeks ago, right? In Bloomington. And yeah, I remember talking with, I actually remember like in San Francisco when this was happening a lot, it probably still is.
Yes.
People would just write notes in their car and say, everything's unlocked. Please just don't break my window. You'll see there's nothing in here. Basically having to go to those links because that was happening so often that people just stopped leaving anything in their car and went as far as to write notes on it and say, there's nothing in here. Please open the door if you don't believe me.
Yeah.
But just don't break my window.
Yeah.
Because that is where it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it is.
On top of the violation and everything, you just have to deal with getting the glass replaced.
Yeah, 100% true. All right, that's the current edition of news on the march. I got some toy department stuff I want to cover when we get back. A couple of other items that have caught my eye. And as always, you can hit the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line, as many of you are. 64686. We are back on this edition, a Thursday edition of the Bumper to Bumper program. I have a question for you. Have you ever attended WeFest in Detroit Lakes?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
How long ago?
Probably 20 years ago.
So how do we describe WeFest? It's a music festival.
Yeah, country festival.
And I think it just wrapped
Detroit
up
Lakes.
Last weekend again in Detroit Lakes.
Yeah, it's fun.
So is it an attempt? I mean, how throwback is it? Is it an attempt to sort of like wake up the days for those who went to Max Yasgur's farm in New York many, many decades ago, and be at one with the people and nature and so forth, that we're trying to like create our own version of that?
I don't know if it's about being one with the people as much as it is just drinking a lot and camping and listening to great country music. Like most of the country festivals. I think it's kind of your standard awesome summer country festival that's been going on forever. It's a country
Woodstock, not that big, obviously.
Yeah, pretty much.
So do we know for an average WeFest, for example, the one that just concluded over the weekend, how many people go? Is it like 50,000? Is it 80,000? Is it 250,000?
I wouldn't know the number, but I'm guessing there's probably...
When you were there, was it like, any idea then? Was it like a mass of people?
Yeah, it's big.
It's big.
Yeah, it's
big. And you
big.
camp.
You can.
You can camp overnight.
I think I don't think we camped for WeFest. We camped for just a standalone Dave Matthews show up in Detroit Lakes at the WeFest spot.
I need some WeFest participants to check in with me, because I'm looking at a press release. This is out of Fargo. The State Patrol, Dateline Detroit Lakes. The State Patrol says it conducted more than 1,000 traffic stops and made 9 DWI arrests during the 3 days of WeFest south of Detroit Lakes. 511 citations or warnings were issued for speeding.
Yeah.
And there were 119 seatbelt violation citations or warnings. 14 minors were cited for underage drinking. There were 21 citations for driving with a revoked, suspended, or canceled license. Maybe I just don't pay attention. The numbers seemed mind-boggling. 511 citations or warnings issued for speeding.
Yeah.
So is it like, are the roads set up on the way to WeFest or around it that you can You think you're in an auto race or something? What are people doing exactly? Or is this just an attempt to really keep this event from getting somehow further out of control, that we don't want these hippies, these country hippies, to take over our town? What? It just seems like a high number, doesn't it to you? 511.
The speeding, yes. The rest of it, no. The rest of the arrest, no. So to me, it seems like they just set up a speeding sting, because you're talking about state highways here that you're on mostly to get there.
So is it a money grab?
That's the cynic in me says yes. We're gonna have a lot of idiots coming up here. Let's take some of their money. We're gonna have people coming from Fargo and the Dakotas. We're gonna have people coming from the Twin Cities and points in between. That's what it seems like to me. Because I have a hard time believing how many citations for underage drinking.
The citations, actually, well, hold on. Let me get back.
That number seems low, is what I'm saying.
21 citations for, no, wait.
I thought it was 9.
14 minors were cited for the underage drinking. This might not be a complete list.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only thing to think of.
Seems like they're just getting people coming in and out of town going a little bit too fast. As you have to slow down probably once you get to town.
But here's my point. It's like, so this isn't the kind of thing where there's so much traffic that you couldn't speed if you wanted to? Because I assume there's a lot of cars going up there and back, no?
But once you kind of get there, you're kind of there.
And it's like, is it a long weekend, basically?
Usually, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's country. It's always country.
Yes.
Who is the headliner this year? Do you know?
I don't know. I can look, but I don't remember.
Conway Twitty?
They've always got a really good lineup.
Does Gaardsy still have the cowboy boots and giant belt buckle that he wore to Wee Fest? Larry Mondello guy wants to know.
Yeah, none of that.
I have a cabin pretty close to there. It's a bleep show. I stay home. That's Mike from Stacy. Wee Fest started as We in 1983. That's from Randy in Duluth. We got very different opinions on how many people are there. Typically, gets 70,000 to 120,000 over 3 days. Somebody else said, no, it's 250,000 plus people, mainly 20 to 25-year-olds, camping, boozing all day for 3 days straight.
Yeah, it starts Wednesday night and goes to Saturday night.
It rained hard a couple nights. So is it a quagmire? It just sounds awful to me. You're in the tents in a quagmire.
It's all part of the experience.
It's part of what you're looking for.
That's why you go to a festival. It's all part of it. Absolutely. That's why I don't do it anymore. But it's what you did in your 20s.
Well, it sounds like you want your Woodstock experience. So I heard about this Woodstock thing. How can we approximate it?
But we have a lot of those. Like, we have Country Fest, we have Country Jam.
Not this size,
not that
people,
size,
right?
But we have Windstock that K102 is a big part of out in Winstead. That's a big one. I mean, it's summer. It's country festivals. That's what's gonna go down.
So is it always got to be country?
No, but I'd say they are They have the market cornered on festivals. That would be what I would say.
Spent a week around Detroit Lakes by coincidence on a family trip. Hold on. Scroll down here. God, hold on. This went fast. Well, I can't even find the text. So many have come in between. All right, let's just take another one. I'll find it. Dan, over 150,000 people go to Wee Fest over the 3 days. The amount of DWIs is actually low, given it's as much about drinking, especially underage, as it is country music, and you drive your car onto the camping property. It's been almost 10 years since I've been there, but it's a blast. My aunt is a local, and after all these years, hold on. After all these years, they either get out of town or embrace it. Wee Fest constantly has cops around there. As long as you don't drive out of the campgrounds, you're going to be okay. My brother and I were there. There was a huge storm that wrecked the campground. People left. We watched about 10 people get pulled over during doing the sobriety test.
So my hunch tells me that there's a lot of designated drivers, or you're just camping.
Yeah.
And over like a 3-night festival, if you're going there for a lot of it, and some people just pop in for a day because of an artist that they like.
Yeah.
Maybe you take turns with who's the designated driver if you're staying at one of the hotels. I feel like I've been up to Detroit Lakes multiple times, only one Wee Fest, but I've been to a bunch of shows there. But again, this is 20 years ago now we're talking.
Yeah, long time. Yeah. I guess I'm trying to figure out how many people go because they really want to go, how many people go because they want to, like, say they've had some sort of a, music festival experience. They're looking for as much decadence as possible.
I know, it's
mingling,
just
drinking.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just partying.
Running around, sliding through the mud.
Yes.
Like they did at Woodstock, all that kind of good stuff. See, none of that ever, no matter how old I was, interested me.
That's not really. I mean, you'd be surprised. I wasn't sliding through any mud.
You weren't?
No.
Oh.
But it's a nice summer night.
How long ago did you say you did it?
Probably 20 years. I mean, 2005, 6, 7. Dave Matthews was probably a little bit later, 2008, 2009.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
All right.
Maybe 2010.
All right.
It was great.
Somebody said we saw Ringo Starr in his all-star band one year at WeFest. Huh.
Interesting.
No idea. Someone else says not always country. Saw your guy Little Richard one year. And he doesn't mean Richard Pitino there, I don't think.
Right. But was that WeFest or just another concert? Because like when I went a couple of different times, it wasn't for WeFest.
I see.
Because they have the infrastructure to do different shows up there.
Yeah, you might be right about that. All right, top of the hour break. Let's return to the toy department. We'll keep an eye on some other WeFest texts that are coming in as well. Stay on. WeFest has been going on since like 1983, writes 763 guy. My grandpa and grandma were literally just telling me stories about it yesterday. Their friend walked backstage and started talking to Jerry Lee Lewis. Plenty of other stories as well. Not sure why you're looking down on it, but really not surprising since you are a liberal city lefty. A liberal city lefty.
They're fun, man. The country fests. They're fun.
Liberal city. I didn't even say I'm not here to say it isn't. I'm just trying to figure out how much of it is that I want to experience, something. Heard all about that Woodstock stuff, man. I want to get in the mud.
It's very, very little.
I want to mix with booze, pot, and chicks. The big three. That's the big three at many of these festivals. Let's be honest about it. That's a big part of it for sure. All right. We haven't talked a lot because we went heavy on it yesterday. The Pohlad news. I am curious today. The Twins are back home against Detroit, and we already got one report of a sign. What the sign read? Just sell the team.
Sell the team. Yep.
Outside the stadium,
on
outside
Target
the ballpark,
Plaza.
but on Target Plaza,
On one of the pillars.
I don't know if that's still there. My hunch is that the rhetoric will be a little bit more frontal now. I think more people, now that the Twins have done an astonishing backpedal on, quite frankly, the most critical decision they were going to make in the last 15, 20 years of ownership, if not even going further back than that you're going to get, there's a good chance you're going to see more signage, you're going to see more people expressing themselves. I want to quote a little bit from Gleeman's piece, I think it dropped yesterday. And he gets to, I think, this is a significant part of the problem for this ownership group, no matter what they intend or intended to do. He writes, there's no planned path for the new minority owners to eventually become majority owners like Mark Laurie and Alex Rodriguez. And as we said, that to me, that was one of the mistakes made yesterday, is if you're gonna do this, which you have every right to do, it's your team, why not wait until you can identify the individuals who are coming in, even if there is no plan to make them majority owners at some point. Maybe you get a little currency on it, depending on who it is, and maybe you make it sound like you've got more of a plan than it appears that you really have. As he writes, in fact, there is no promise of anything different, really, just more empty platitudes and meaningless references to community from the same billionaire family that's failed the Twins fans decade after decade. He reminds us, let me see if I can get some of the numbers. By shedding $25 million in salaries at the trade deadline, this season's payroll is down to roughly 77% of the MLB average. Think about that. 77% of the MLB average. Last season's payroll was roughly 76% of the MLB average. That's a difference of around $40 million per year. The last time the Twins had a payroll below 80% of the league-wide average was 2009. The final season, where? Guess where? The Metrodome.
The Dome.
When they were at 74%. Combined from 2005 to 2009, the final 5 seasons before moving into Target Field, Twins payroll was 77% of league. Remember, average, just league average. And he writes, it's not hard to think more payroll cuts are coming after the Twins dumped the Correa contract at the deadline as well. So, again, if you think you have something to sell, once again, the tone deafness of the people trying to sell it is staggering. Because when you have chances to talk to reporters yesterday, you don't take the opportunity to be any more specific than we're in this for the long run, community, that we're in the best position you could possibly imagine. This team and this ownership has zero equity when it comes to believing them on anything. So it's natural to assume that most of this money, this cash flow that you're going to get in, is basically going to be used to pay down the debt. Now, you may have intention of doing something else, but why would anybody believe you? No one forced you to put the team on the market. Nobody. You could have, from the beginning, implemented the concept of what you ended up doing. That's what doesn't make any sense to me. And I still don't buy the notion that there just were no buyers. I don't believe it. But I don't believe anything these guys say. Because over and over again, they've obfuscated, they've generalized, they've sort of left out important points and issues in their attempt to justify the approach that they have taken with this particular operation. So you're starting with no credibility, which is why no one is going to believe that the cash is going to go to any place but your own pockets or into the hand, like I said, in the hands of paying down the debt. And I'll also add, if this was your ultimate intent to not sell, but to bring new minority owners in and helping the cash flow in, it continues to me to be mind-boggling and counterintuitive that at the trade deadline, if you're going to stay with intent of actually doing something with this new operation, that you would gut the team to the degree that you did. We've talked about this before. The worst thing that I think bad organizations do is they compound one mistake with two more. And if your real intent was cash flow, let's even, if you want to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, well, they're going to put some money back in the team. What's the point of putting money back in the team right now, given that you're restarting, you have to rebuild at the very least, you literally have to rebuild an entire bullpen. You just shake your head and say, what could you be thinking? So in any case, I was glad to go back through memory lane regarding those payroll numbers, those percentages. And again, there are many ball guys who have way too often created straw men in savaging Twins fans because of the alleged belief that Twins fans are unrealistic about what their demands are in spending. We're not going to be able to compete with the Dodgers and the Mets and the Cubs when they want to and several other teams. What are you out of your mind? And that's really not the subject for most rational Twins fans. And yes, there are a lot of rational Twins fans who say, I'm not debating that. I'm not demanding it. But I am suggesting that when you are that far under average payroll, when you're at 77% of league average, 76% of league average season after season, that's what most fans are saying about that. You're fixing this. It becomes self-fulfilling that you're not going to be able to sustain anything. I'm not asking you to get the biggest payroll, but I'm saying when you're at that percentage of what is just average in the league, fans have every right to say, who are you kidding? I'm not an idiot. I see exactly what's going on here. So if they are going to And again, I rule nothing out. I'll be honest. I wouldn't even rule out 2 months from now, they say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to sell. We actually like the new people so much. They got more money than we thought.
They found some friends. We're out of it. At this point, I think anything is possible. They have zero credibility. There's no reason to believe them on anything. But if they're going to rebuild their image, if they're serious about staying around, that's what they have to deal with, is that they have not in any way, shape, or course at all played this straight. They have not spoken truthfully. They've obfuscated, they've deflected, and then they've had the added advantage, like I said, of people dismissing this alleged fan hysteria of blaming everything on them. When in fact, what they're again saying is, look at those numbers. They're in black and white. What do those numbers tell us? Is it too much for us to ask that you be at 100% of league average? Occasionally 110% of league average? That's what I think. Again, are there always going to be irrational folks who, well, I don't see why we couldn't compete with the others? You know, what's the percentage of people who think that way? Most people know the market well enough to know that's not realistic. But they have every reason, and they're very justified in their frustrations regarding the question in general of how much are you actually spending. No one's asking this team, rarely are people asking this team to go to the limit, God forbid. It's more, well, let's be average or above average a little bit more often. And as we said, you can talk about the regional TV deal till you're blue in the face. It's a reality. It's part of the deal. But the fact of the matter is, the approach the Twins have taken have actually put them in a worse financial position because they're going to end up with literally the worst box office season at this still outstanding ballpark in the history of Target Field, correct? It's undeniable. And unless they have a late season surge.
Yeah, that's it.
Of attendance.
Starting tonight when they take care of the first place Tigers.
Saw that the tarps were going on the field a little while ago. I don't know if they've been removed or not.
Well, that's more opportunity for signage to kind of appear in the outfield from time to time.
Show wrap presented by American Pressure, commercial grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
We might have a read along tomorrow with the words of Kevin Kernan. In a ball9.com column, he had a long stretch reacting to the Twins news yesterday. I want to thank our special guests today. Well, to a certain extent, it's the listeners because they're contributors. Dr. Dan's inbox was, as you might expect, chock full of Twins savagery. By the way, there might be some more Twins savagery via KFAN.com and the website. If you click on the search engine, the magnifying glass, and type in the word gong, G-O-N-G, magically a new KFAN t-shirt that might properly capture some of your Twins-related frustration will be right there in front of your eyes, available for purchase. It will also be at the State Fair, but you can get ahead of it if you want to get involved right now. It's that simple. It's that easy. We also want to thank counterterror big knocker Michael Hurley, Edina's own, legitimately Edina's own. He joined us at 3:30 to talk about the big summit in Alaska tomorrow and some Middle East stuff as well. Michael Hurley between 3:30 and 4 o'clock today. Tomorrow is Friday Football Beast, and I'm assuming Lavelle tomorrow. I'm assuming Ben Gessling.
Correct.
Tomorrow. I think that's it for right now, right?
For right now, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we stand there. And then we got, 3 more shows, weekday shows next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then a week from today, we're at the fair. That's when it all begins.
Getting it organized as we speak.
You're hearing the Enough Said music from Fox 9. We are going to be taping with a live audience, we hope. Noonish, usually. Don't we do it noonish?
We do. Right around 12:15.
From the Fox 9 location the next 2 Fridays. So obviously not tomorrow, but a week from Friday and 2 weeks. The week after that, we'll do both shows there with Lori Fisher. She's not taking either of them off, is she?
Not scheduled. Remember she got COVID one of the years, allegedly? She was supposed to be out there with us.
I don't remember that. Is that true?
She bailed on us late. Yeah,
Okay.
Natalie had to help. I think Lori's working tomorrow, right? She was off last
she is
week.
working tomorrow. Yeah, she is involved in that for sure.
That'll be helpful.
That should be helpful. All the reports, as we talked about earlier in the show, coming from day 2 of the joint practices, Vikings-Patriots, favorable to the Vikings. Then again, as I mentioned earlier, Vikings are coming off 14-3, and the Patriots are coming off 4-13. But as you remind me, it is amazing to me. The over-under on victories is the same for both clubs, you said, right?
8.5 is what I heard earlier in the
Now,
week.
some of that's schedule, I'm assuming.
A lot of it.
But that still astounds me. That's more faith in New England than I would have at this point.
People love Vrabes, man.
He's a good
Who
coach.
apparently there was a little bit of a skirmish at practice today.
Come on. Did he get in the middle of that one?
Vrabel got in the middle of it.
He did not.
Yeah,
You're
I
just
saw
saying that.
the video. I don't know where it is now because I closed my Twitter down, but it's not like he was throwing
the blood
hands.
on his nose real, or is this like a bloody sock
Kurt
situation?
Schilling?
Yeah,
Might
Where he's
be
got
Kurt Schilling.
one of those blood capsules where it looks like you're bleeding and you're not.
It's a New England thing.
It might be. Yeah, it's very possible. But yeah, all the reports were day 2 we dominated, both offensively and defensively. Which again, I would say we should, given the strengths of the two teams. But better to hear that than anything else. And it is official. Your guy Sam Howell, not Brosmer, will start the preseason game that's a nooner, our last home preseason game.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming Brosmer will get in, because if you're starting Howell, maybe a lot of the time.
You know what he's going to get? One of my favorite phrases now from camp
What's that?
that I've kind of heard this week. He's going to get a long look.
You love that, don't you?
I love long look. Brosmer's going to get a long look.
Well, sadly, in this case, it's because they're afraid to get anybody else hurt. You know, that's the sad part.
Yeah.
But it's true.
I think
That's
he's
part of
gonna
the
make
reason
the
he'll get
team.
along. Well, I do too.
I think they're keeping him.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. I think that's already been determined. But in all honesty, he's now in a position as a backup player that, well, we love you, but if somebody's got to get hurt at the position, we'd rather it be you than JJ, who apparently is proclaiming his own accuracy brilliance today. Wasn't that the quote? I'm one of the more accurate guys out.
That's
around.
what he said, yeah.
So, just got unfrozen, thawed out in Tolosa. They still haven't sold Twins in 2096. Don't you have to rhyme it better than that? That's from Flim Flam, or is he trying to be avant-garde?
I'm not going to put myself in his head, but yeah, we need a little bit more.
We've had a bunch of those. I didn't even read some of them. Not sure. Where was I? I had one more to get to. Oh, when exactly do you unveil the State Fair T-shirts?
We kind of do it different year by year.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, to that extent, we just sort of did drop one.
Yes.
I think we have another one on our show.
We do?
Which we'll, I guess, hold on to until perhaps we get there as well.
Yep.
So we'll see. In any case, tonight's Fan Outdoors night.
Right
so
after
there's
us.
no Fan and a Man in the Air because they immediately follow us. So stay tuned for that. And I gave you the lineup for tomorrow. Maybe we add, maybe we subtract. Well, we won't subtract. We'll try to get Lobble going again. And we'll certainly chat with Ben Gessling. Stay sky aware tonight. Maybe. We have some storms, perhaps.
That's what the National Weather Service
And
said.
then extremely moist with a very high corn sweat index back tomorrow. Oh, goody for us. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3.
The job is done. We can go home now.